In this video, I'm going to show you a couple of formatting tricks that will help make your Crystal Xcelsius dashboards and visualizations a bit more visually appealing. And we're going to go ahead and start with a couple of things that are easy, things that you can do with 1 or 2 clicks. And I've got a couple of components here. They're empty components. They're here for demonstration purposes only. And the first thing we'll talk about is skins. Now there are 3 skins that you can choose from in Crystal Xcelsius. The default skin is Aqua. That's what you're looking at here. So this is kind of your standard Xcelsius look and feel. But you can go to View and hit Change Skin and really easily change the skin to one of 3 skins. Aero, Aqua, which is the default, and then Elan. Now let's go ahead and pick Elan first and press OK. And you'll notice that the components on this particular dashboard have changed. They're the same components, they work in exactly the same way, but they've got a different look. Elan is kind of a crisp, clean look, very tight. And this is a great skin to use if you have a dashboard that has a lot of information on it. The other skin you haven't seen yet is Aero. Aero is kind of a darker skin. It's got more of a boardroom feel in it, but again, the components work the same way. It's just a different look and feel. This is a very easy way for you to add a bit more life to your dashboards and your standard Xcelsius look and feel. Another easy way to change the look and feel of your dashboard is to change the style of the dashboard. Now, style is different from skin. Style is basically a color scheme. It's basically a theme. So I've got a very kind of basic dashboard here again. So I'm going to go to View, Change Style. Now when you click on Change Style, it brings up this selection of styles here. What you can do is you can kind of click on one just to see how your components would look with this particular color scheme. And again, style is nothing more than kind of changing your color scheme. So I've always liked the boardroom style, so let's go ahead and click on boardroom. As you can see, it's kind of a brownish, tobacco-y, cognac kind of feel. So let's press apply and press OK. And now all my components have changed. Right? Now these are, again, same components, just so the color scheme is different. Now with every component that I add onto the dashboard, it'll have this kind of brownish color scheme. And if you ever want to revert back to the default style, simply select default and then you can revert back to that. So those are the very easy things that you can do in a very big broad brush stroke, changing the format and the style and the skin to give your Xcelsius dashboards a different look and feel. Now there's little smaller things that you can do with specific components. One example is actually taking your charts and adding them onto a background. This basically gives your charts kind of a feeling of hovering over the dashboard. So I've got a background here that I've kind of downloaded or brought onto the canvas, and I've got a chart here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on the chart and say bring to front. Now the chart kind of goes over the background. Now what I can do is select the chart, hold down the control key. You're not going to be able to see this on the video, but I'm holding down the control key and select the background. Then I'm going to go to Format, Make Same Size, Both. Size the chart onto the background. And there you go, the chart is on top of a background. It makes it look like your chart has kind of a shadow effect. And if I add another chart here, you'll see the difference between the two. Another little formatting trick that I like to do is sometimes I like to put a chart inside of the shell of a gauge. Now I do this because sometimes you have dashboards where a chart kind of looks funny or out of place. For example, if I've got a dashboard with 3 gauges and then all of a sudden the chart, it may not flow right. So what I like to do is I like to kind of pop another gauge on here and kind of make it extra big. And then what I'll do is I'll put a circle on top of it, or ellipse. Then I'll size the ellipse to kind of fit the gauge, and then I'll double click on the ellipse. I'll remove the border, make it a solid fill, and I'll usually fill it with white. If I fill it with a color, it'll be a color that matches the theme. And then what I'll do is I'll put the chart on top of the gauge and the ellipse. So what I'll do is I'll right click on it, hit bring to front, and then put it on top of here. Now it's still a chart, obviously, and the gauge just doesn't do anything else. It's just an empty gauge. Now it's still a chart and the gauge is empty and everything should be acting the same. It's just the chart kind of looks more in place with the other components. Now what I like to do is I like to kind of highlight the whole thing, right click and hit group. That way the group of components that I've just stuck together here can move around without too much hassle. Another very simple little trick you can do is actually give your labels a 3D feel by simply copying the label and then going ahead and pasting same label, and just double click on the label and make the font color a lighter color. I usually make it much lighter, and then take your original label and make sure you send that one to front, bring to front, and then all you have to do is kind of line them up until you get this 3D feel. So hopefully you can use a couple of these formatting tricks to help make your Crystal Xcelsius dashboard that much more stunning.